Dear breeders, when it comes to such a product, which is also necessary in the continuity of annual breeding, and when it comes to breeding young ones, now a little about our protein, about which Maciej also said a lot. However, I would like to remind you what the main role and task of protein is. Namely, the task of protein in the diet of young pigeons is to develop this bird's muscular corset at the best moment for him, when this growth phase is not over. We recommend giving it throughout the breeding process, not only during the racing season. The addition of whey protein can stimulate the development of intestinal villi and consequently improve the digestion and absorption of nutrients by the birds when it comes to feed. These proteins also protect the organism of a young bird from excessive stress, which I mentioned earlier in the field of vitamin C. Lactose contained in it, although the bird itself does not digest it, has a positive effect on the use of probiotics, which we also give to pigeons. And it is the bacteria derived from probiotics that break down the lactose supplied with the protein, using it as food. The use of additional protein for flights and broods for feed may strengthen the body's natural immunity. It also prevents the negative effects of increased free radical synthesis in birds subjected to the currently unfavorable environmental conditions, as well as the stress caused by these unfavorable temperatures. Here, too, training in the flights themselves are added. It can also be assumed that the antioxidant effect of whey proteins will either support or replace similar functions of other exogenous substances, for example vitamins, especially vitamin C. It is also important to introduce the product to the racing loft in advance so that the birds have time to adapt to it. You can start as early as 3 weeks before the season by administering half of the suggested dose in week 1, in week 2, 3/4 of the suggested dose, and in the week of the first flight, of this competition flight, simply administer the full dose. As for the conclusions, the most important about protein. Protein supports the building, development and reconstruction of muscles, which is a priority in the case of young ones, because they have not yet achieved this full development. It improves regeneration during the racing season, prevents our aviators from losing their shape during the racing season, and in particular supports molting. It improves the quality of this plumage due to the content of compounds needed to build the plumage, and here we have a lot of such positive feedback on the molting issue. In addition, this protein improves the resistance of young pigeons thanks to the content of immunoglobulins. And this protein contains a full amino acid profile. It is perfect for supplementing food based on grains or pods. The vegetable protein contained in them does not contain the full, unfortunately, profile of amino acids. Like vitamin C, it reduces stress levels. And these two products, protein and vitamin C, complement each other perfectly at this point. As for this protein, it also stimulates the development of intestinal villi, which ultimately increases the ability of the young to use the food taken later in adulthood. I cordially invite you to dose, not only for pigeons in the right season, when it comes to the adult pigeon season, but also in the season of young pigeons, as well as year-round dosing.